Hey guys, how you going? Sorry about that. I dropped out for some strange reason, but we're restarting the scope now. Hey, who wants to take things to the next level? Who's ready to? Who's got their pen and paper? Who's got their book and their pad ready to rock and roll? Let's hard it up in here, guys. I'm giving you guys some of my best strategies. Hard it up. Share this with your friends and family. Can everyone see and hear what's going on? Have we got a good connection? Hey Nick, good to see you. It's game time, right? Can everyone swipe across and share this with your friends and family? What I'm going to share with you guys today would cost you a small fortune if I was to tell you this one-on-one. So save a bit of money, get this on Periscope, much better connection, awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. Heart it up, don't forget to tap the screen. We'll wait for a few more people to hop in and then we're going to talk about peak performance. Everything you guys need to know about peak performance. I'm going to cover the basics today, then I'll answer some questions at the end. Is everyone cool with that? Hey, thanks for the love, guys. Alright. What have I think I got Jay-Z playing in the background. Can't knock the hustle. But I suspect that'll turn off in about 3 or 4 minutes and then it's rock and roll time. So hey, while we're waiting for a few more people, we're spreading the love, spreading the word. Who's ready to take things to the next level? Who wants to perform at a higher level? Who wants to get more out of each day? Who wants to get more out of himself each day? Give me a thumbs up, give me a smile, tap it up. Tell me what you guys want to do. Who here wants to take things to another level? Who here thinks they've got more room and potential? Everyone's got more to give. I'm yet to work with someone who didn't have more to give, guys. So let's get into it. We've got a nice little room here. You can always climb a little higher. Love that. We can all do a little better. We can all do a little more. So what I'm sharing with you guys today is everything you need to know to perform at a high level. Everything you guys need to know about peak performance. And I know it's something which we often hear about peak performance. So what I want to address before we get started is, what the hell is peak performance? We all hear athletes talk about peak performance. We all hear the superstars and the best coaches in the world talk about performing at a peak level. And peak performance ultimately comes down to 2 key elements, which I've found from working with people all over the world in the last year or so. And really it comes down to 2 key factors. Number 1, peak performance comes down to complete control of what you can control. So I think we live in a world today, guys, where we've got a lot of things going on in our life. You have to learn to separate that between the things you can control and the things you can't control. And the things you guys usually can control are things like your habits, routines, and rituals, which obviously is going to be a major part when we talk about peak performance. But who here can control whether they brush their teeth every night and morning? Who's in control of that? Who knows, maybe you guys aren't brushing your teeth every morning and night, but you should be. So who's in control of brushing their teeth every morning and night, and who's in control of their morning shower, their evening shower, and who's very well versed at those sort of very remedial tasks? So we'll use the toothbrushing example, right? Shaving, there's another one, but everyone brushes their teeth, hopefully. So how long have you guys been brushing your teeth for? How long have you guys been brushing your teeth for? How many weeks, days, months, years? Now, I've been doing it for about 30 something years now, right? So I'm pretty well versed in that. I'm pretty good at practicing brushing my teeth. I may not do it at the best level, but I do know how to brush my teeth. So I'm in control of that. And what is it now? It becomes subconscious, right? I'm not thinking about brushing my teeth. It's just something I do. It's something which is part of my routine. I've been conditioned, right? And I want you guys to write this word down, because this is what peak performance comes down to, no matter how you look at it. Being conditioned, right? So complete control of what you can control, which is really your routines, habits, and rituals. The morning, 5 a.m. till 6:30 a.m. The evening, the bookends of the day. Before you go to bed, that sort of hour and a half before you guys go to bed, you're in complete control of that. You're also in control of that sort of 4:30 till 6 a.m. time slot, because usually no one's bugging you, things aren't coming up, you don't have to respond to emails. So if we're going to perform at a peak level, guys, complete control of what you can control. The second thing which defines peak performance is pretty much performing at your highest possible level. So these are the two key elements: complete control of what you can control and performing at your highest possible level. That doesn't mean performing at the same level as Usain Bolt in 100 meters. That means performing at a level which is your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional peak. And that doesn't mean that's got nothing to do with comparing yourself with other people. That's just the best you can do. So you could almost call that 100%. To leave it all on the table, put it all on the line, to give it everything you have. They are the two elements which make up peak performance. So if you want to know what peak performance is and how you help someone or help yourself get into a sort of peak performance state, peak performance conditioning, they're the two areas you guys have to start looking at. Now I want to talk to you guys about the difference between people who perform at a peak level and people who perform at a sort of normal level. What are some of the differences you guys think when you look at people who perform at a really high level, a world-class level? What are some of the differences they have? Shout it out. Go for it. Type it up. Yell it out. What do you guys think are some of the key differences that people who perform at a world-class level have over average people, or even ourselves? Reimagine it. Attitude, yep. What else? Throw them out there, guys. Go for it. Let's get a bit of brainstorming happening here. This is a class. A free masterclass, I guess you guys could call it. They have a defined purpose. Yep. What else? Go for it, guys. Not dependent on others. Okay, that's cool. All right, so peak performance is a lot of those things you guys mentioned, but it really comes down to this. Everyone that performs at a peak condition, everyone that performs at a very high level, is my third point here, which is they're focused on constant improvement, constant development of skills, and they practice, train, and drill constantly. We're very good at practicing, training, and drilling our mind to focus on our builds, to focus on what's negative, to focus on what we don't want. Who agrees with that? Who practices negativity every day? Who's very well versed in training their mind to look at what's wrong? Who's very good at drilling themselves when it comes to having a beer on Friday night instead of working on your next big idea. They practice, train and drill at a very high level, but their day-to-day activity is also very much about practice, train and drill. When we talk about habits, rituals and patterns, really that's all about practicing, training and drilling, guys. Every morning you guys brush your teeth. Yeah, they eat a bowl of cereal. Right? Brushing your teeth is a practice, drill and train. So constant improvement, guys. We often think that successful people focus on the outcome. The truth is, the outcome is secondary to constant improvement. Anyone who's getting results in life, the outcome's important, but never as important as the skills that they can develop, the constant improvement. See, $1 million isn't that important to some of the high-level athletes in the world. Money isn't important. Whether you're a musician, whether you're an athlete, depending on your arena, it's the constant improvement, the development of their skill. Because if they get that right, money's not a problem. Once you learn the skills, once you understand your craft, once you're able to share what you guys do, money doesn't become a problem anymore, because you can keep replicating your success. You can keep replicating what you're about. That's why we need to focus completely on self-improvement, but constant improvement of your skills and learning your craft and practicing, training and drilling. Who remembers my post from, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, which was, I don't practice until I get it right, I practice until I never get it wrong. Who remembers that post? Don't practice until you get it right, practice until you never get it wrong. Do you guys remember that post a couple of days ago? Right? This is the level I want you guys working at. Never get it wrong. That's the sort of practice and the level of commitment we're talking about here. I want you guys very well versed in what you do, your activity, your craft. Who here reckons that they're very well versed in what they do? If we're going to talk about you performing at a peak level every single day, you've got to be well versed at what you guys do. You've got to become an expert, right? See this? Being well versed in what you do. There's another way to say that. An expert. Not someone that kind of uses the term expert. I'm talking about the go-to person. Someone that does it at such a high level. They become world class. I want you guys being well versed at what you guys do. If you're going to perform at this high level, if you're going to do anything decent in life, anything significant, you guys really have to work hard at being well versed in what you do, becoming an expert, doing it better than you did the day before, doing it better than anyone else in your industry or field, and doing it to your highest level. The other thing, when we talk about peak performance, which I think you guys kind of alluded to earlier, was they're focused. They have a defined purpose. And I didn't write the word down here because it eluded me at the time. But when we talk about peak performance, we're talking about absolute focus. We're talking about absolute dedication. We're talking about absolute discipline. We're talking about consistency. We're talking about preparation. Peak performance comes down to preparation. That's one of the differences between average people and people who are performing at a very high level. They're prepared. And when you're prepared, guys, when your conditioning's right, when you've conditioned yourself, you can start to give 100%. Before that point, you're never going to give 100%. Who agrees with that? If you guys aren't fully prepared, then there's room for improvement. There's room to do better. Who reckons that's really important, preparation? And I'm going to share one point on preparation when you guys get back to me. Tap it up, guys. Thanks for tapping the screen. These are some of my best strategies on peak performance. When we get over to this side, we're going to start talking about implementation into your day-to-day life. So who reckons preparation is important? How important is preparation to perform at your highest level? Preparation that you're talking about is preparation at sort of an execution level. When we talk about preparation in peak performance, we're talking about preparation which is going to be consistent till the day you die. That's called, another word is called conditioning, right? Constant conditioning, constant preparation. Who's an example of someone we could use? So let's say Tom Brady or Usain Bolt or Lewis Hamilton. These guys, they're constantly prepared. They're constantly preparing themselves to perform at a high level. That preparation never stops. That work never stops. And as I always say, guys, everything you do hold on. Not always easy to write when you're looking through a camera. Everything you do is preparation for greatness, or and the or is really up to what word you guys choose to use, but you're either preparing for something great, something epic, or you're preparing for what? Nothing. That's how important preparation is. Preparation is so important, guys. When we talk about peak performance, when I work with anyone to turn their life around, to make their life better, it really comes down to preparation. Mediocrity is a great word. There you go. I'll let you guys choose that word. So, how do we start implementing peak performance strategies into our life? Who wants to know that? Who wants to perform at a peak performance level tomorrow? Tap it up. Let me know who's ready for 3 or 4 ideas which you guys can actually use tomorrow or today, depending on where you guys are. So I've explained to you guys what we're looking at. Just a quick rundown. Peak performance is complete control of what you can control. It also is performing at your highest possible level. Every day, not once in a while, every day. It's a muscle. You keep building it. You keep working on it. You keep developing. Constant improvement and development. Not the outcome. Focus on constantly improving. Develop those skills because that's what's valuable. In the marketplace, whatever skill set, whatever job, whatever task or activity you do, that's what you get paid for. You don't have the skills, you don't have the improvement, you don't have that thing that people want to spend money on or get involved with, then hey, you're broke. Simple as that. Becoming well versed in what you do. Alright, so that's practice, train and drill. Becoming so well versed that you never get it wrong again. That you guys simply just, it's second nature, like brushing your teeth, right? Which we covered before. And then focus and purpose. So here's the strategies I implement every day of the week. And I'm going to give you guys my most important strategy, which is what I call the A1 strategy, right? This is priority A1. This is the strategy. Like, forget everything else. If you were to reimagine your life, if you were to reimagine how you existed, if you were to reimagine everything about your life, throw everything you know that you've been conditioned to believe, everything out the window. A1, which is my A1 strategy, is really your peak performance strategy. And the question I want you guys to write down, when you throw everything out, and maybe it'll take you 20 minutes to condition yourself and consider throwing everything out you've been taught, I want you guys to ask yourself this question. What would I do, or what can I do, or how would my life look if I was to do everything at a peak performance level? Right? If everything was about peak condition, peak performance, what would you eat? What would you drink? How would you start your day? How would you end your day? What would your day look like? What would your phone calls look like? What would your social media look like? What would your business look like? What would your life look like? What would your environment around you look like? What would everything in your world look like? That's what I call the A1 strategy. And what you find when you throw everything out, you also tend to throw the box of cereal out. You start replacing it with green juice. You throw the negative people out of your life and you start finding positive people. You throw watching TV out and you start making a business plan. You start creating an idea. You start developing your skills. Right? So what I call my A1 strategy, and I often use this myself when I need to pull myself back into line, which is more often than not sometimes. My A1 strategy is my code word for peak performance. Hey Joe, you know what? You haven't been eating right. You've been mucking about. You haven't been performing at a high enough level. Let's get back to basics. Let's reimagine what you want. Reimagine how your life would look. And it really comes down to this: peak condition and peak performance. That's what the A1 strategy is. So if you guys want to get involved with an A1 strategy today, step number one, reimagine your life. Forget what's step number one, get rid of, I guess, your conditioning. Step number two, reimagine it. Once you've reimagined your life, once you've imagined what you'd be eating, what you'd be doing, what your life would be like if you were to perform at peak condition, then you guys will start to see some changes. Then we go into the most important part of the A1 strategy, which is what I generally work on most of the time. I'm the guy you call when you need your habits, rituals, and patterns fixed up. When you need your routines fixed up, I'm that guy. When I talk about before 5 a.m., the business I've created, the personal development brand I've created, the work I do with everyone, that's it. This is my specialty. Habits, routines, rituals, and patterns. That's what I get paid to do. That's what I turn around in people's lives. If you turn this around, everything turns around. If you fail to do this, forget about it. You can have the world's biggest ideas. You can have great dreams. You can even have a pretty successful life. But if you don't run great habits, you don't run great rituals, you don't run great patterns, and I guess the other word I've forgotten there, guys, which I always use, routines. So why do I tell you guys to wake up before 5 a.m.? So you can run really great rituals, habits, routines, and patterns. That's all. When I share a picture of you, of Howard Schultz waking up at 4:30, or Mike O'Hearn waking up at 3 o'clock, or Tom Ford waking up at 4 o'clock, or Tim Cook waking up at 3 o'clock. I'm not talking about what time they wake up. I'm talking about rituals, habits, patterns, and routines. Average people will comment and say, hey man, why is this dude waking up at 3 o'clock? I'm never going to wake up at 3 o'clock. I don't care if you wake up early or not. What I'm talking to you guys about and what I'm working with you guys about is these things. This is what basically controls your conditioning, and it controls this element. Complete control of what you can control, which is 100% what peak performance is about. So how do we change our habits, routines, and patterns? Obviously, I'm not going to work with you guys on that right now, but if you guys start to reimagine what your habits and routines and patterns look like, what you do in the morning, right? And this is what I want to work with you guys on today, or touch on it in the evening. All right. Who finds it hard to control what happens during the day? Who finds it hard to control what happens during the day? Thanks for the hearts, guys. Keep tapping it up. All right. Who finds it hard in the middle of a day when things are going on, emails are coming in, you got to get to work, you got to drive back from work? Who finds the middle of the day and sort of that sort of 9 till 7 p.m. to be pretty hard to have control of? And I can tell you guys, that's where most of us get stuck. Most people are trying to control their day in the middle of the day. You don't control your day in the middle of the day. What happens between 9 a.m. and sort of 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. is usually out of your control. Why is that? Well, you've got work, you've got birthday parties, you've got people to meet, someone's dying, someone's had a car accident, someone's ringing you up to chase you up for money for a bill you didn't pay, someone hasn't paid you this week. So there's a lot of chaos going on between the hours of 9 a.m. and sort of 8 p.m. That's why if you're going to control your day and if you're going to perform at peak levels, and if you have a day job, obviously if you're a top class athlete and you're watching this, then your life's a lot more in control. But if you have a normal kind of life and you're trying to perform at peak levels, you've got to control your mornings, which is 4 a.m. till sort of before you get ready for work. Some of you are hopping in the shower for work at about 6 a.m. Then, wake up at 4:30 and make the most of that hour and a half. Then hop in the shower and get ready for your day. Your evening before you hop into bed, when you come back from work, you got dinner with the family, you most probably chill out a bit, and then you kind of get ready for the end of the night. The evening and the morning are the two parts of the day you guys can control. If you're already doing what you love, then you can control all 24 hours. But if you do have to work for someone else and you do have to have a normal kind of life until you reimagine and relive your life, the morning and evenings, I want you guys to start running really good rituals, really good habits, and really good patterns. Who here can do that? Who here can rewrite and reimagine, retool and reskill their mornings and replan their evenings? Heart it up if you can do it. Heart it up if it's possible for you. If it's too hard to do, then, that's on you guys. Anyone here can plan their morning and plan their evening. As long as you're doing that before everyone wakes up, and as long as you're giving yourself time in the evening before you kind of head to bed to work on your own ideas, to implement a system and a strategy, which I call the A1 strategy. All right, so a couple more things, guys, in terms of strategy. Less is more. Successful people are one-dimensional. And I know that irks a lot of people, but that's the reality. It's very hard to be world-class at everything. It's very good to be I wouldn't say easy, but it's possible to be world-class at one or two things. Love that. The miracle morning. That's right. So less is more. So on this section, if you guys are taking notes, what can you cut out? What can you hand out? What can you substitute? What can you just not do anymore? Or what can you delegate out? Less means more. You guys got to start becoming a bit more one-dimensional. And really you become one-dimensional by having a purpose and a plan. So make sure you have a purpose and a plan. Cut all the crap out. Start working on what you care about. Start working on yourself. Make yourself a priority. Right? Sorry for my handwriting, guys. I'm looking through the camera trying to write. But make yourself a priority. And finally, the number one peak performance strategy you guys can start once you've kind of reimagined yourself, when you've kind of rethought your habits out, when you've planned your day out before you go to bed, what I consider the 24-hour period. If you can get one 24-hour period right, if you can just get it right, you can create an A1 day, right? then you can repeat it again and again and again. You only have to get one day right. Prove to yourself you can get a 24-hour period right, 100%, perfect, tight, feeling good, feeling energized, feeling motivated, feeling inspired, feeling happy, feeling charged up, getting results. Just do it for one day. That's all I ask. It could be a Saturday, it could be a Sunday, it could be a Monday, it could be midweek. If you can do one day, I promise you can do 2 days. And if you guys can do 2 days, then hey, you can do every single day for the rest of your life. And if you guys start performing at a peak performance level, everything changes, because now you're a world-class performer. You are in control of your life. You're not at the mercy of everything else. You're doing the best that you can. And when you do the best that you can every day and you go to bed at night knowing you've done the best you can, anxiety disappears, depression disappears, pain disappears, uncertainty disappears, fear disappears. The best way to conquer all those negative emotions is to put together a day which scares the hell out of them. A day that shows you can do it. A day that exercises your willpower. Hey, thanks for that. It'll be on replay for 24 hours, guys. And if it does record, I'll find a way to put it on Facebook, which I have been promising to do. Alright guys, they're the strategies. That's what peak performance is. That's the best strategy for you guys to use to get started in the next 24 hours or over the weekend. I'll answer a couple of questions on peak performance and then I'm going to jet. So who's got some questions? Who wants to know how they can perform at a high level? Who wants to know how they can get more out of life? Who wants to know what's required to perform at such a level which makes people stand back and wonder what the hell you're on or what the hell you're doing, or makes people wonder if you're a genius, right? More reading, yep, read more books. What's the best evening ritual? It does depend how you plan your day. To give you guys an example, my hour and a half before I go to bed is focused on the hour and a half I go to bed is focused on two things. Well, actually, I'll give you an example. So from 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. I work out again. So I'll go for a walk or work out in the morning, which is part of my morning ritual. My evening ritual, as soon as the day ends, and this is something I want you guys to get into the habit of doing. When you finish your day at work, exercise. Don't exercise yourself to the bone. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Go for a cycle. Go for a swim, because it gets you out of state of the day at work. Where most people go wrong, they finish work and then they come home, they eat dinner, they sit on the couch. The first thing I train anyone I work with is to do a little workout at the end of each day. End of the work day, that is. So about 5 p.m. till 6, I give myself a bit of a walk, listen to some music, write a few things down. I kind of go into that cool space of working on my creative ideas. And then from sort of 6 till 9 p.m, if I obviously don't have a dinner or friends to hang out with or something going on like that, I'll work on the big ideas. So just like I do in the morning, the first hour and a half of my day is spent working on the biggest idea I have. The evening's working on something similar. So maybe a big idea I have, or a big project, or something I care about. So that's my evening ritual. And then at about 9 o'clock, I'll read a book for half an hour. By 9:30, lights out, off to bed. Lots of water during the day, obviously, is really important, which kind of goes back to the A1 strategy. If you guys reimagine it, you don't need a coach. You can coach yourself. But that's pretty much what I do. And then obviously, depending how I go, I'll either meditate or read at 9 o'clock. So that gives you guys a little bit of insight of how I do it. But that hour when I get home is my hour to work out and connect with myself. How do you have fun with the context of peak performance? Well, you tend to have more fun because you're going to feel healthier, you're going to feel fitter, you're going to have more energy, you're going to basically be a bit more alive. So on that front, when you do get to hang out with your friends and family and And when you do get to go out to events and do cool stuff, your energy level's a lot higher. You feel a lot more confident. You feel a lot more certain because you're in control of your life. And that's a key factor in having fun. And all change is hard to start with. Is this hard to do? It's not that hard, mate. At the end of the day, wake up a bit earlier, work on something which is important to you, work on your body, do the same thing in the evening, and eat well, drink well, rest well, connect with your spirituality, and be a little bit disciplined and focused. It's really not that hard. We've just managed to overcomplicate it because we've been conditioned the other way around. If I taught you all this stuff from birth and you ran this same pattern till you were 18, it wouldn't be hard. The problem is we've been running a pretty shitty pattern up until we're an adult, and then we kind of fall off after that. What about dating? Is it a distraction? It can be. I mean, I don't date at this point in my life, because that's not part of what I'm trying to achieve right now. But if that's important to you, dating's fine. At the end of the day, the whole point about getting up earlier is you get all your stuff done that's important to you in the morning, so you can go on a date and you can hang out with your mates at night and you can go and have a great experience with someone that you might be interested in, or your mates or your family. That frees up your evening to do what you want to do. If you're leaving all the work that needs to be done till nighttime, forget it. It never gets done. We all know that. Because someone's birthday party's on, the girl at work you like's invited you out to this thing, and you can't say, no, I better go to the gym. That's why you go to the gym in the morning. That's why you work on your body in the morning. That's why you get up early to work on your big ideas in the morning. So come nighttime, if you know that model you like on Instagram asks you out to dinner, then hey, guess what? You can go out to dinner, right? But keep this in mind, right? Peak performance takes 90 days to 180 days for you guys to get into that rhythm. I'm yet to meet anyone who can do it in less than sort of 90 days. So commit yourself to that first 90 days. Then it becomes a routine, habit, and ritual, and then you guys can make that change. So, you know, if it looks like it's a lot of work right now, it most probably is, but that's mainly because you've been running the wrong patterns and you've been taught the wrong way from day one. That's kind of the problem. You're battling your conditioning. And the reality is, when we change our conditioning, when we recondition our mind, when we rethink, we retool, we reskill, we have a chance of living the life we want to live. If we keep running the same patterns, routines, and rituals, you're going to keep getting the same results. Your life goes around in a circle. And hey, what use are you to any woman or man if your routines, habits, and rituals are useless? Affirmations, yeah, absolutely. 100%. Affirmations are key to peak performance. And the reason I say that, and I often say this to you guys, if you guys don't have affirmations, your default setting is negativity. Your default setting is doubt. Your default setting is fear, and your brain isn't designed to make you guys happy. So for most of you, I'd rather you guys tell yourself some sort of delusional affirmation, because if you don't tell yourself an affirmation, you're most probably telling yourself something negative. You're most probably telling yourself, I'm too small. I'm too fat. She'll never look at me. He'll never look at me. I don't have enough money. Man, I wish I had some money to pay these bills. I wish I had a nice car. I wish I had a house to live in, you know, rather than living in an apartment. Whatever the things are that's going on in your head. You can fill yourself up with self-doubt very easily. You don't need help with that. You guys know that. So until you get to a point where your default setting becomes positive, when your default setting becomes something which adds to your life, then yeah, use affirmations, 100%, guys. And trust me, almost everyone I work with and talk to, they struggle with their self-talk. Negative self-talk seems to be our default setting. That's something you guys got to work on, and that's part of your peak performance conditioning. But at the end of the day, that'll all change if you change the physical world. once you start running good routines, habits, and rituals, once you start taking action, what you guys will find is the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual side will align with that. Short-term goals are really important. So the thing about goals, which most people never tell you about, goals are simply steps for you to reach your vision. Goals by themselves are of no use to you. You should have a grand vision for your life of what you want your life to be like, what you want to achieve, what your life purpose is, what your mission is, what's your vision of life. Once you know what that is, your goals are simply steps to get to that vision. Too many people set goals which are of no value to their mission, vision, or purpose. There's no point setting goals to own a BMW, pay off a house, go to university, if none of those things fit in with your vision of changing people's lives in Africa and moving to Africa when you're 25 and working with kids there. So that's why your vision, your purpose, your mission comes first. The goals are simply steps. And you could almost remove the word goals from your vocabulary. You could almost remove it from your vocabulary and replace it with steps, which is something I coach a lot of people on. The other word I remove from people's vocabulary is success. Unfortunately, the word's been hijacked, same as goals, by a lot of... It's been hijacked and given, a meaning and a feel which is very different to what it is. But yeah, so that most probably answers your question about goals. I'll answer one more, guys, when I have to get back to work. I've got a lot on at the moment, but hey, I wanted to hang out with you guys, add a bit of value to your life. Did you guys get some value out of this Periscope? Did you guys learn anything? I hope you guys have learned something, and I hope you guys will start implementing some of my strategies. Tag me in your photos when you start running an A1 strategy or an A1 system. You guys can run great routines, habits, and rituals. You guys can run great patterns. You just got to make that decision, and then you got to execute on it and take action. It's really not that hard. But you do have to open up your mind. Okay, thanks for the love, guys. Thanks for joining me. I will take one more question, and then I'm going to jet. So who's got one last question for Joe? And then I will... I'll head out and get back to work. So I'll take one more. I hope I've answered some questions. I hope you guys got some value. I hope you guys are going to make that change. Tag me in your Instagram pictures. Send me your pictures. Let me know what's going on when this stuff starts working in your life. And don't forget, it's on replay for 24 hours. I have 100 or so messages to get through, so every day you guys would be surprised how many emails and messages I get through. So trying to get back to everyone is almost a full-time job. The best books which talk about peak performance in terms of mainstream books, if you want to get into Tony Robbins, Unlimited Power, there's a lot of peak performance stuff in there. Maybe not high level stuff, but stuff you guys can implement into your life pretty quickly. And I will be releasing a peak performance guide for you guys as one of the books I'm planning to release shortly. So the blueprint covers a lot of that stuff, but my next sort of book and my next online course at the start of the year will be very much about peak performance. In fact, the course I'm going to run in about a couple of weeks for you guys will cover a lot of that stuff. So, and it'll be good value. So that's something you guys can check out when it's up and running. But gives you guys a little bit of sort of insight, gives you guys a bit of a feeling of what you can do. All right, guys, big love. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being a blessing in my life. So, hey, go do something beautiful. Go do something great. Go do something inspiring. It is a good book. And go make a difference, right? You're not here to use the resources of the planet. You're here to contribute. Go have a good day. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. And I'll chat to you all soon. Hey, take care. See you around.